Welcome, this is Simon from Strategize Financial Modelling. Today I'm going to show you a model which further exemplifies the importance of building a comprehensive pricing model tool to fully cost a service contract for your company. Like all the models, we have a table of contents, then we move to our assumptions for our time series. Then we move to the more detailed assumptions relating to the course or the service you're offering. So we need to go through all this detail here. Now for allocating the indirect cost, we must specify what year this contract is taking place. So obviously it's going to take place for the current year, so we're going to select 2012. And then we're going to have to go through and specify the sort of detail. Now, some courses may run off a detailed pricing list, such as this accredited course one. However, it may be a more arbitrary one, such as a short course program, so whereby we just simply enter the price per student. But anyway, the nature of pricing is such that it's imperative to fully capture all the volumes and all units of revenue and cost into our model, as we can see here. Now with incremental costing, you're under the auspices of activity-based costing, you're allocating a proportion of your years or periods indirect costs into a certain activity or sort of revenue driver. Now we're assuming here this is 100%, but there could be strategic reasons why your company feels there should be less than that 1.6% of indirect costs being allocated. It all depends on kind of the strategic nature of this contract that you're servicing or service. Now it's very detailed, and that's one of the things I mentioned in the article, is that you may want to use a light version of this model for kind of lower management, such as what I've shown here. I've basically reduced the number of outputs and inputs, essentially taking away the incremental costing, which lower management may not be fully aware or understand. So if you get management to simply just allocate the base items, such as those unit prices, then they can just merely go through and just see things on a gross profit perspective. For now, we're going to go back to the full version because obviously we're concerned about seeing the full universe of outputs, such as this, where we're obviously crunching all the direct costs as per that course worksheet, assumptions worksheet, and then obviously our indirect costs, which is all the SG&A and employee expenses, which is all driven by that incremental costing. Then arriving at kind of a high-level P&L, which then obviously flows into direct cash flow statement with a net present value. Now the real power with the pricing model is not just providing kind of incremental costing, but it's also providing the ability for management to hypothesize, which is the essence of sensitivity analysis, and to see how things will be impacted. So for example, here we have 22 students enrolled. Now say if we can bump that up by say 6 students, and how about if we can increase our course fee by another say $2,000. Now we'll see how that is going to impact on our gross profit figures here. And as you can see, we've gone from about 131,000 up to 228,000. That was just simply by undertaking the sensitivity of just increasing our fees by $2,000 per student and adding another 6 students to the class, which is the real power that this sensitivity analysis cannot provide to your company in a pricing model. And as you can see, there are other areas that you can undertake kind of what-if sensitivity analysis to see the impact either on an absolute dollar basis or a percentage basis. Now, as I just showed, we can see the impact of that either on an incremental or a full costing. Now, we just want to compare that impact. We'll look at it from a gross profit perspective. The impact of that increase in course fee as well as students. And as you can see, we've gone from about 88,000 up to 178,000, which is actually obviously quite significant. This sort of modelling dashboard analysis is more user-friendly, as I've discussed in the article. Perhaps a certain executive only wants to look at cash flow, which he or she can simply do as opposed to looking at, say, net profit after tax or EBIT. And finally, the pricing model can give you a very high-level dashboard. And once again, as we saw, the profit margin has gone from 67% up to 78% from that simple increase in course fee as well as increase in students. And as always, the model has the ancillary modelled import sheets at the back and the lookup tables. So there we go. As per my article, the power of a pricing model to your company, how a fully comprehensive approach can greatly improve executives' management perception of expected returns on the servicing of a contract. Thank you.